Welcome to section number 1, where all we're going to talk about is analysis. And I'm going to share everything with you that you need to know about analyzing gold. And the very first and the very foremost module that we're going to talk about is how to mark gold zones, how to mark support and resistance zones when it comes to gold. Because gold is something that is extremely unique, but I hope you're excited. I hope you're ready to get your hands on the charts. I hope you're ready with a notepad and pen, because this is going to be very interesting. Let's get to the charts, guys. So I'm sure now you can see my screen. And how do I mark my zones is something that is a very, very big question for most of the people. And here exactly I'm going to share everything that I follow. So let's just select a different ticker for gold where zones are not available at all. Let me just delete all the zones. And I'm going to share everything with you in terms of how do I mark the zones, which is basically the number one secret. How exactly do I mark the zones? So now if you look at gold, gold is something, and this is something that I've spoken about multiple times. Gold is something that has always and always retested a certain level most of the time, or I would rather say 90% of the time, because whatever price action you see, whether it's on any kind of time frame, gold never breaks a level without testing it at least 2 to 3 times. Gold never breaks below a level without testing it 2 to 3 times. Gold never breaks above a level without testing it 2 to 3 times. Whether it's on the 15 minute, whether it's on the 1 hour, whatever time frame it is. And that is what gives us the edge when it comes to trading out gold and marking out the zones. So the first priority that I look for when it comes to marking gold zones is obviously from where I can see the maximum kind of diversion, maximum kind of reversions from the price. Like, let's say if this is a zone, let's say if I mark this zone, do I see certain reversions from this zone? Let me go back to the 15-minute time frame. So yes, absolutely. So gold broke above this zone, came back down, tried going above, came back down once again, and then went above this zone. Once again, if I have to mark this particular zone, what happened here? This acted as a resistance twice. Gold then broke out, came down, took support, and then went back up again. So this is something that I would love to mark out, because if in a real case scenario, let's say if I replay the charts, let's say for example, right now, if I replay the charts, I have nothing, no data on gold as of now. Let's say for example, the only data that I have is this particular support zone, this particular resistance zone that is now a support zone. And what I can see is that gold has came down from this particular resistance. Now what I'll do is I'll go back and test whether this level is actually a resistance or is just a random reversal from the price. So let me go back. Now when I go back, this is what I see. What I see is, look at this. This at some level acted as a little support, and then gold went down and broke it. Then what we can do is we can go a little bit more backwards just to confirm. Maybe we'll get a little bit more confirmation. Once again, this is not any kind of scripted example that I'm giving you. I've just opened the chart randomly. I'm doing it in front of you because I believe that is the best and the most practical way to learn. Because if I want, I can just open up all fancy notepads and charts for you just so you could feel good about it. But I don't think that's the best way to learn. Okay, so I don't think in this example we're getting many confirmations from this particular zone. Okay, now look. Okay, we've got good confirmation. So here you can see it was respected. Then after that, this particular zone was respected a little bit here, and then it acted as a resistance. So yes, as someone who's marking out the zone, I would mark this out as a small resistance zone. Now, if the gold price comes back up, it gives me an idea for a short trade. But this video, but specifically is on how do I mark the zones. So this is how I would mark this particular zone, and then we'll watch just gold respect that zone, obviously, and then gold is trying to come down as a support zone. This would be my reference point, but now gold has broken this particular resistance. So now just simple basic support and resistance concept, guys. I'm pretty sure you all understand that. So here, if you look at this particular zone, gold has tested this zone multiple times. From here also we have seen a little bit of a downside, decent downside movement. So that is something that I could look at as my point of reference. But here's what I look at. I look at two things when I'm marking gold zones. The number one thing is, was this particular zone or was this particular region respected in the past? Second thing is, from this particular zone or from this particular region, was there a decent move? Was there a decent drop or was there a decent rise from that particular zone? Because see, just marking simple support and resistance is good. That will definitely work. But what we are here to do is we are here to make money. And if you want to make money, you need to make sure that you are doing something that gives you an edge. Now, these are the two things that will give you an edge. The simple support and resistance concept is very easy. It basically tells you to mark out zones where there is multiple tests of the price. But we will add extra pointer to it where we will see that was there a good movement from that particular zone. Because see, there are support and resistance zones and there are good support and resistance zones. So now, how do I differentiate good support and resistance zones from the not so good ones? Obviously, now, if there's a support or a resistance zone from where the price has pumped or dumped significantly, that just tells me that that particular zone holds a lot of buyers and a lot of sellers, which just gives me the idea, which just gives me the confirmation that that particular support and resistance is most likely to be respected, because a lot of sellers and a lot of buyers are particularly sitting over there. And that's exactly what gives me an edge and what will give you an edge when you are marking your support and resistance zone. So let us check it out and see how the price respects it. Okay. So naturally, this is my support reference point. This is my resistance reference point. Obviously, the price came down, respected the support region. Now let's see what happens at the resistance point. So initially, obviously, let's see. Beautiful. So here you can see what happened. The price came up, almost touched it, came down a little bit. This could have been a decent scalp trade, almost 60-70 pips, not bad at all. Then price came up here again, went down 30 pips, decent, not the ideal trade, but decent. And then after that, you can see the price came down and dropped. So now, what would be my reference point in this case? Now, when I will keep moving on to the secrets, when I keep moving on to the further modules, things will make much sense and give you more clarity. But remember, this is just me sharing how do I mark the zones. So now, see, the price dumped down from here. So it is my duty to check that, let's say if the price dumped from here, let me just check for confirmation what exactly happened here in the past. So here I don't see much. I just see that yes, there was some consolidation over here on this particular, this acted as a support region. Let me try and go back a little bit. See if I can find something. Oh, lovely. So here you can see that there was some kind of support which was being acted. Maybe if I can move it over here a little bit. So this does make sense as a resistance zone. So this could be my next resistance reference point. I would like to delete this. And then from here, this level, from where the price has jumped, or probably this particular level, could be my reference point, because the price respected this as a support. Price went up, came down, respected it. So let's just see what the price does. So price is respecting this particular zone as a support region. Let's see if it respects this as a resistance. Okay, so the price went up, came down a little bit. Let's say, I think 20 pips or something. 20 pips or something came down a little bit and then started going up non-stop, right? So guys, I hope you're understanding how exactly you're supposed to mark the zones. Now, okay, over here, if I have to mark the zone, and once again, this requires a lot of patience, guys, because if gold gives a violent move like this, I'm sure you will get a FOMO, especially if you're someone who has not traded gold before. Gold loves to give you FOMO. But if you try to enter in a structure like this, you have absolutely no freaking idea where you're supposed to mark the support, where you're supposed to mark the resistance, and where you're supposed to enter. And that's exactly why it is very important to remember the fundamental characteristic of gold, that gold does not move without touching a certain support or resistance at least twice. So you got to be patient because the price is going to come. Let gold form structure. Do not make zones in FOMO. So now let me just see what happened. So here gold basically came down, and I could see that gold is taking some sort of support over here. Okay, so I'll just go back and see. This definitely does make sense. This acted as a resistance. This clearly looks like it's a good zone, and then this support zone also looks like it's a good zone. Once again, now what I would like to do is I would like to go back and try and mark something like this over here as just as a reference point. I still don't know whether it's going to be respected or not, but just as a reference point so you understand how you're going to mark the zones. Now, once again, if the price comes on this resistance, am I going to take that trade? Maybe, maybe not. But once again, remember, this module, this video is just about marking the zones. Whether we'll take the trade or not, whether how to use a confirmation system, how to layer the trade, the risk management, all of that will be covered. I'm pretty sure you're excited to know. But yeah, this is just to mark how, just to know how to mark the zones. Once again, now you see over here, the price went up, respected this, came down. So this could have been a really nice short trade, right? And then, once again, this is the very end of the chart. Now, what gold is going to do, I have no particular idea, but I have my reference points. So, as a trader, guys, as a trader, our job is not to predict what the price is going to do. Our job is to act with respect to what the price is doing, right? So now, if the price is respecting this particular resistance zone, as a trader, it is my job to take a short over here. So the price goes down and I end up making money. Now, similarly, let's say if the price breaks above this particular zone, my job as a trader is to wait for the price to come here. If it reacts bearish, it is my job to take advantage of the downfall and make some money. So remember, marking zones does not mean that you're predicting. Marking zones means that you're waiting for the price to come, react through that zone, and accordingly take action as a trader. This is something that is extremely, extremely important, which people do not understand. I repeat, our job is not to predict, guys. Our job is to wait for the price to react and then take action accordingly. Right? Once again, I'm pretty sure that you will need to watch this video again and again and again once you are well versed with the entire concept altogether. But yes, I love to mark zones on 1 hour, 4 hour. Once again, multiple time frame analysis I will cover ahead in the next module, in the coming modules. But yes, I hope you understood. There are two simple principles when I'm marking my zones. One, does the price respect this particular region? Has it respected in the past? Has it touched multiple times in the past? Second, was there a decent move from that? Welcome to section number 1, where all we're going to talk about is analysis. And I'm going to edge when I try marking out support and resistance zones. And that's exactly how you mark the zones, guys. And this is the absolute beginning. Touched multiple times in the past. Second, was there a decent move from that particular zone? Because that is what gives me an edge when I try marking out support and resistance zones. And that's exactly how you mark the zones, guys. And this is the absolute beginning.